Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and yes, we are live here on Monday to go over the 23-20 win against the Indianapolis Colts. And if you looked at my thumbnail, I did put a little thing called the Flashback because this game reminded me in a lot of ways of that Cleveland Browns game, and not just with the ending, the type of team we faced, the type of quarterback we faced, a lot of the allowances that we did. Honestly, I think we probably should have won this game by double digits. We created some miscues and allowed the Colts to kind of get in this game. The Colts got a little bit lucky. We'll talk about that as well. We'll also talk about the playoff picture. Hey, Mr. SHS43, welcome back. Nice to see you in here. Sandy B as well. I'll be welcoming you all in here. We're also going to be talking about some recent news. We have a couple of news items that kind of dropped today. One, some good news if you haven't heard, and some other not so good news. And I'm going to comment on both of those right now. But first, we're going to get into what I call the rundown. Now, what I do, if you're new here on the live stream, or if you're watching this on replay, I have my segment called the rundown. Now, I have my segments here per the list. This time, I'm going to talk about the game review, mainly of the Colts-Raiders game here, but also have some other news items. And then we finish off with a Q&A session where I go and I want to see what you have to say about not only about the game or the subject we're talking about, but anything else you want to talk about, Raider related or football related. So, but the first thing I gotta cover, if you haven't heard already, there's word that Nate Hobbs is arrested for DUI. This is coming from TMZ Sports, but it's also in various other news outlets. This happened, this dropped about 1 o'clock this afternoon, Pacific time. Basically, the story is that he was found by the police, passed out in his car. If you don't know, even if you're not driving the car, if you're passed out in the front seat, they consider that a DUI. He does have some lawyers. They're not sure if it's going to be considered as a DUI or not. Rich Bisaccia had a presser today, mentioned this briefly, basically said they're still kind of gathering information. They don't really know what they're going to do about this situation right now. To me, this almost kind of feels, if you remember near the beginning of the season with Josh Jacobs getting in that single car accident, and some people were saying that was a possible DUI, but nothing really came about this. I'm wondering if that's going to kind of go the same path. That's number one. Number two, what the hell is he thinking? I just don't understand this at all. I mean, he had a player that killed somebody getting behind the wheel. I don't care if he wasn't driving and he just got tired and he passed out. There's Uber, there's Lyft. I don't get this. I understand that, they wanted to come back and party because they had a big win against the Colts. They're in the playoff picture. Get a limo, guys. I don't understand this. You guys make millions of dollars. Get some limos together. Come on. It just boggles my mind. And, a lot of this, I'm fully for personal responsibility. And Nate Hobbs, he's acting, if this is true, he's acting like an idiot, almost on the line of Ruggs, if not the same. It just didn't turn out the same, to be honest. But I've got to, like I said, with personal responsibility, but this is a systemic issue with this franchise. And I got to point to these two idiots right here. I feel it's like this dysfunction. It's kind of bleeding down throughout the whole organization, with the ownership on down, with the personnel group. Again, I'm gonna make a video in the off season about our draft picks of the last few years, the value we've given, where they actually are playing, what's happened to them, including the Ruggs pick, the Damon Arnett pick, and all those. So I'll reserve my details and judgment on that. But it seems that this franchise, when you have a bunch of issues going on at the same time, that's telling me the leadership of this franchise, there's faults with it. Now, if you're not getting the right people, that's one thing, but the culture and the attitude, how is this acceptable? I just don't understand it. You know, I mean, do we need to have a player kill somebody else? Let's be honest here. This is ridiculous. So, I'll put more word out on this on my next live stream as we get word. Like I said, this is kind of an early story. So, let's move on with this. I want to talk about my first subject, and that is obviously the playoffs. You know, playoffs. You talk about playoffs? You kidding me? So, I just doing my worst impression there, but we are in the playoff hunt. Actually, to be honest with you, I just put the AFC here. I don't really care about the NFC here. We're talking about the Raiders. So if you look here, I just took this off NFL.com. I put a demarcation line. So if you're not familiar with it, there are 7 playoff spots, just like last year, 4 division winners and 3 wild cards. So this is how it currently shakes out. Now, the Browns and Steelers are currently playing right now. So it's 7-0 Steelers right now, and they are driving. So if the Steelers win, they're still kind of in the hunt. Browns are not. Their fate was kind of sealed when the Bengals beat the Chiefs. The Bengals won their division by upsetting the Chiefs at home. The Chiefs fall the number 2 seed. They were the number 1 seed before. So let's talk about the Raiders. Raiders have beaten the Colts. They have the head-to-head against the Miami, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. However, we have the Chargers in the way, and we do play them next week. And the other news that I wanted to put out here, and this is good news, they have flexed this game to Sunday Night Football. So it'll be on the main stage, prime time, and the winner goes to the playoffs, basically. If we do win, we have a shot at getting that 6th seed. I would rather have that. Even if Indianapolis wins, they're going to play Jacksonville, which they'll probably beat. But if we beat the Chargers, we would be 10-7 as well. We would be ahead of them on tiebreaker. I would rather face Cincinnati. If you don't know, Burrow hurt his knee at the very end of that game. I haven't really heard a word, yay or nay, on that, but I would rather face them than go to Arrowhead in the first round and play the Chiefs as the number 2 seed, which the number 7 seed would. So this is going to be a very interesting game. And like I said, I'll get to that a little bit later when I upload the next live stream. But next week is kind of a play-in. Well, not kind of. It actually is a play-in game between the Chargers and Raiders to get one of those final 3 wild card spots. So without further ado, let's get to the game yesterday. I have a lot to go over, so let's get right to it. And as we normally do, we started on the defensive side of the ball for the Raiders. And also, as we normally do, I'm going to go over my 4 keys to the game that I put out in my game preview and see how the team did with those 4 keys to the game and grade those, as well as give an overall report card for each side of the ball. So let's go over the first key to the game, and that was pretty obvious, and that is slowing down Jonathan Taylor, the league leader in rushing right now. I don't know why it changed over. Having a little bit of problems with OBS tonight, bear with me. But the league leader is Jonathan Taylor, obviously, over 1,600 yards coming into here. And my goal was really to just try to limit him to 100 yards and less than 2 touchdowns. So how did we do? He got 20 for 108 and a touchdown. Not bad. We almost hit the goal of the century mark, a little bit over. I'm going to give this one a B-. I'm going to say it's a little bit higher than average. Given the status of our run defense, we have been doing pretty well lately the last 2 games. And we were doing very well with him in the first quarter. Second quarter, he kind of found his groove, unfortunately. Broke off a couple big runs. But I'm also going to give it a B- because of this team. This offense is really one-dimensional. So you'll see in my grading on both sides of the ball, it's a little bit kind of grading on the curve, so to speak. I think if they had a halfway decent quarterback, this probably would have been a B or a B+. I mean, again, Jonathan Taylor, 5.5 yards per carry coming into this game. an absolute beast. He's going to win the rushing title. I think the next guy behind him is like 300 or 400 yards behind him. So, and they lean on him heavily. And I think overall we did a pretty good job with him. Now, my other key to the game here is basically, I put it on the defensive line. A lot of it's incorporated with the defense in general, but it starts with the defensive line. And I wanted at least 10 quarterback hits. I wanted a 40% or better third down conversion rate, and only give up one red zone touchdown. So how did we do? We had 7 quarterback hits. We were 3 of 11 on third down conversion. That equates to 27%. So very good there. And we gave up 1 red zone touchdown. I'm going to give this one a B. And like I said, I'm kind of grading on the curve. If we played a more balanced defense, I probably would have given it like an A-. We did only get 1 sack. However, that wasn't a goal for me. But we did pressure Wentz enough. He did make some kind of weird and strange throws, just like I thought he would. He's very erratic. But overall, I think we did well. Again, this is a one-dimensional offense, and I think the key was slowing down Jonathan Taylor. So overall, I'm going to give the defense itself a B. Now, we only gave up 262 total yards. We didn't get any turnovers, though. Only 16 first downs. That's pretty good. But I couldn't give it an A, and there's 2 reasons. One, Carson Wentz is terrible. He only had 148 passing yards. And 2, can we get a turnover? Please, for the love of God, can we catch an interception? And I could not, in good conscience, give an A grade when this happened. We had Merrick there. We had Casey Hayward there jumping for the ball. It was like Keystone Cops. They knocked each other down. It pops up, and the ball lands in T.Y. Hilton's lap. It was just like, it's like unbelievable. That was like the first drive of the second half. Hey, Lencho, how you doing? We're just going over the grading here, and we'll talk about that. But in good conscience, I couldn't give the defense an A. We're still cannot generate any turnovers. If anything, can we teach the secondary guys, the DBs, how to catch a ball? It's frustrating, and they had a beat on it. They just knocked each other out. Like I said, it was like Keystone Cops. It's absolutely ridiculous. But overall, well done, especially slowing down the rushing leader well enough. Like I said, if I give an overall grade higher than a C, then I'm saying that side of the ball, they were good enough to win the game regardless of the outcome. So in general, I think the defense did play well enough to win this game. So if you are enjoying this, of course, you got to give this thing a thumbs up. You got to subscribe. That way YouTube gods will be happy and loving, and they will shower me with more whatever's impressions and all that. I don't want to get into it, but when you do subscribe, be sure to hit that bell notification on the side right next to when you sub, and hit it to all, because that way you'll be notified, just like Sandy B was, and she put it in the comments. You'll be notified of all my future live streams. And of course, my next live stream will be Friday night, and I'm going to have to change the thumbnail here, of course, because it's Sunday Night Football, so I'm going to have to make it a little dark, maybe put the Sunday Night Football logo. But my theme is going to be Cállate la Bosa instead of La Boca, because we need to shut this idiot up. I watched the interview again and just got pissed off about it. You know, Derek Carr needs to come out and prove this idiot wrong. You know, he thought he was a badass because he owned Leatherwood and Parker. He's a joke. And we need to chip this guy. I'll get into that a little bit more in detail, but it all kind of culminates in this win in your in playoff game. We're going to go over my keys to the game on Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 Central. So come and join us. So with that, let's get to the offensive side of the ball. And you know what? As I've been saying for several weeks now, my first key is going to be on number 4. Obviously, the offense is going to run and flow through him. And my expectations for Carr and this offense, that includes Greg Olsen, the play calling, I wanted at least 50% on third down conversions. I wanted to see 2 red zone touchdowns and no turnovers. And yes, I did put that in red and underline it during the game preview. I did not change that. So you can see we actually went 6 of 14 on third down conversions, 1 red zone touchdown, and 2 turnovers. So I got to give this a C-. And to be honest with you, if Carr didn't lead us back in the end of the game, just kind of like all the Cleveland Browns and win the game, it probably would have been a D or a D-. The turnovers he had were pretty poor. The one deep throw to Deshaun was kind of late. It looked like a duck. It looked like a punt, but he was actually kind of late on throwing the ball. He should have thrown a little bit earlier and probably let Deshaun Jackson run to it, use his speed. They both had to slow down for it. Granted, Deshaun probably could have played for the ball a little bit better, but the DB had better positioning on him. The other one, Leonard, the outside linebacker, made a hell of a play, came across. Carr didn't even see him and kind of took his lunch right there. Basically, it was a good play by Leonard, but Carr should have known better. And then the other one, he threw it across his body, and honestly, Rocky Sin should have had that interception. He dropped it. He just flat out dropped it. So he could have very well had 3 turnovers. And then you had Mariota fumbling. Leonard caused that fumble with Mariota, but it went out of bounds. So frankly, I think we got pretty lucky overall. And I kind of stress that we can't turn the ball over. This Colts defense is very opportunistic, and they showed it. But we did kind of escape at the end with the field goal. So I couldn't give it a D. I'll give it a C-. But the other key of the game I wanted to see was getting Josh Jacobs involved. He had his first 100-yard rushing game last week, and I was expecting more of the same. I wanted at least a century mark, and I also wanted to see like 150 total rushing yards, because that way we control the game more. We keep the ball away from Jonathan Taylor and him trying to control the game. And that was a similar type blueprint that Tennessee used. I talked about that in my game preview when they won in week 3, even though the Titans didn't generate any turnovers in that game. That's what I was kind of basing the blueprint on, because we can't, for some reason, our defense can't generate turnovers. So I was assuming that, and I was right. We didn't get any turnovers. We didn't generate any turnovers. We gave up 2. What he actually did was 16 of 63, 1 touchdown. The running game overall had 85 total yards. That includes Mariota running a couple times. I'm going to give it a C. It's not terrible, but it's not good. I think when we did run, especially with Mariota, we got some 4th down conversions. I think overall it was okay. I would have liked to have seen more, but it just wasn't happening, unfortunately. So I got to give the overall grade to the offense a C-. And I got to say that, frankly, because of the turnovers, the gameplay by Carr, even that other one that should have been an interception, that marred heavily on us. This is the type of team you can't do that to. And quite frankly, if we play like this next week against the Chargers, we're going to lose, because Carson Wentz sucks and Justin Herbert doesn't suck. And if we give these turnovers to the Chargers offense, we're going to be in trouble. They're going to score like 30 points on us. So again, I keep saying this. We got to clean the turnovers up. We're doing better on third down conversions. That was my drum beat for a few weeks there. And we've been getting around 50% for a few weeks now. But this turnovers, we can't do this anymore. We got to be able to tuck a ball in. We can't give the Chargers any opportunities here. And Carr needs to come out and play with some vengeance. Take what Bosa said to heart and prove him wrong. That's what I'm looking for in this. I'll get into the details next Friday on that game. But overall, we did all right. I think we outplayed the Colts for about a quarter-ish. We let them into the game, especially late in the half. We kicked the ball out of bounds, gave him a short field, made Carson Wentz look good. His one and only good drive, to be honest with you. The rest of the time, he pretty much sucked. They got the touchdown, and then that miracle touchdown he had in the first drive in the third quarter. You could tell this is the type of team, especially with Wentz under center, they're totally beatable if you don't screw up. They're a solid team. Otherwise, a great running game, obviously, but I think we kind of escaped just like we did with Cleveland. So now let's get to the Q&A section of this portion of this live stream. I want to hear what you have to say about this game. What do you think? What were your grades on this, offense and defense? If you want to talk about my grades, and if you agree, if you disagree, why? And also, you want to talk about the upcoming matchup with the Chargers? We can talk a little bit about that as well. So, again, I've already said hi to Sandy B, Mr. SHS43. Let me see if I saw anybody else. Raider Wolf, I didn't catch you there. Sorry about that. Lencho is here as well. Let's see. I'm just going to go over the comments. Mr. HS43 says, young, dumb kid. He should have taken advantage of the right services out there. I'll wait for more details before I crush the guy, but you're right. One tragedy is enough. Need to be smart. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's something that it wasn't like it was on your team. It wasn't like somebody in the league, you know, a New York Giant, you know, or whatever. This is close to home. I don't get it. And these guys, you know, it's not like they're broke. Come on. Even if you're tired and you want to crash out, get an Uber. Come on, guys, get an Uber. Let's see. Mr. SHS43 said either game is tough, but I think we could take the Chiefs on the third attempt. So you're playing against possible. We could talk about that. Possible playoff opponents once we get past the Chargers. See what I'm saying? Once we get past the Chargers, because I think this is our time. We'll at least get past these guys and get into the playoffs. So, like I said, I'd rather play Cincinnati solely because of Burrow. And we played them before, and we played like crap. And there could be some redemption there as well. The Chiefs are going to be a very tough out in their house, especially now that they've lost, and they're likely going to lose the first seed. The number one seed, because Tennessee's there, and Tennessee plays Houston next week. So, you know, they're going to stomp. They're probably going to just win by 30 there. So that way they lost their bye week. There's only one bye week now instead of two for the top two seeds. Only the top seed gets the bye week. So I think the Chiefs are not going to be very happy in the first round, to say the least. So I think I would rather play Cincinnati, to be honest with you. Both games we played against the Chiefs, we did not look very good at all. So Raider Wolf says B+. You talk about the defense. Yeah, you could go B+. I mean, I definitely couldn't give him an A for that crazy play. That should have definitely been an interception. We made Carson Wentz look insane. I even watched a couple replays on that. The NFL guy said, yeah, that's Carson Wentz's big arm. Big arm? It was short. What was he talking about? It was a 45-yard touchdown, but it went about 40 yards. I mean, it's a decent length throw, but he doesn't, you know, he threw it right to our guys. It's like, come on, luckiest quarterback this week by far, Carson Wentz, and they still lost. See, thumbs up, subscribe, yes. Cállate la bolsa. Yeah, you like that, huh? So yeah, I wanted a little play on words. So yeah, he needs to shut his mouth. We need to shut his mouth for him. That's the bottom line. And I wanted to rewatch that interview too, and I did that. And not only did he talk smack about Derek Carr, he was talking smack about a play where he did get kind of held and turned around by Leatherwood. And then he whined and cried to the refs about it afterwards. And he whined and cried. I don't know. Did he get fined for that? Because I guarantee you, if a Raider did that, that would have been like $5,000-$10,000 after a game. He was saying the refs were blind and all this other crap. You know, he needs to get his pocketbook lightened up a little bit. Zay Jones, I did think did good. He did okay. Renfro was the star, obviously, with the touchdown, but he also got a couple third downs. He had that nice run back to midfield on the punt. So overall, pretty good game for Renfro. Also, I forgot to mention, sorry about that, Hunter Renfro, he eclipsed 1,000 yards. Zay Jones got 100 yards for the first time in his career, but Renfro getting 1,000 yards, to me, it's unbelievable. They say, well, you have 17 games. Well, this is the 16th game, so even if you don't count next week, he still had a 1,000-yard season. And I believe he's second in receptions for wide receiver in Raider history behind Tim Brown. So that's pretty darn good. Let's see. Raider Wolf says, glad to hear he wasn't driving drunk. He'll probably be playing next Sunday. We'll see. I'll talk about that more on Friday. We'll know more about it. You never know, especially with the Raiders stuff going on. You never know what's gonna happen. It's like clown show, and that's honestly that's why I pointed at Mark Davis, because he's like the ringmaster of this circus. There's too many dysfunctional things going on to just blame. I mean, like I said, I give individual accountability to Ruggs and Arnett and Hobbs. Now what's going on with this, and other stuff, and Gruden. That was kind of a hit piece, to be honest with you, the way it played out with Washington. But it's a bunch of things going on at the same time. All these fires. What's going on? Why isn't the organization, the leadership of the organization, keeping their ship a little tighter? Raider Wolf says, seems like Bisaccia is expecting Walter to play Sunday too. I hope so. It's for the playoffs. So if he's ready to play and he's healthy, I'm hoping he shows up for this game. We're going to need him. I am very concerned about this game. I will say that, especially watching some of the first game we played against them. I think the line's playing better, but still we're going to have problems. Not only that side of the ball, but the defensive side. Now, you have to understand these last three. We've won 3 games in a row, but take a look at it. Cleveland Baker Mayfield's not that good anyway. I'm not going to say he sucks, but he's not that good. We had Nick Mullins because Baker was on the you-know-what. So they lean on Nick Chubb, heavy running game. Denver, Bridgewater didn't play because he had that concussion the week before. Drew Lock, not that good. He did play pretty decently, especially for his standards, but they tried leaning on the running game. It didn't go anywhere. This week, Carson Wentz sucks. Lean on Taylor. You look at the Chargers, they have a passing game. Their strength is the passing game and getting Eckler outside and getting him in the flat. And we have troubles with that. So it's going to be very interesting. I'll just say that. Sandy B says, start so strong and then they struggle. Motivation. I don't think it's that. I think part of it is coaching. I think some of that was early on, like Arnett. I think he didn't want to play football at all, at least this year. Like I said, I talked about that before. I think he has the talent, but he doesn't have the heart for it. And maybe if he can fix that, he can get back in the league. But I don't know. I think other teams adjust and coach better. And I said that before when Gruden was here, but I'm still seeing it here. I think the other teams hit our weaknesses better and adapt and adjust. I think that's why Taylor was. It wasn't just Taylor getting big runs; it was the line blowing those big holes for him too. It wasn't like he ran over 5 or 6 guys when he was getting 20, 25-yard runs. He was getting through the first line, the line itself, pretty easily. It's good second, third level. Merrick was kind of uncharacteristically I wouldn't say missing tackles, kind of bouncing off him. So you could say that was because Jonathan Taylor's a stud. But you saw that. I saw Perryman. I know Perryman was 100% because he actually had the you-know-what. So he was kind of recovering. He didn't have his full wind underneath him, so to speak. I understand that, but he made a couple plays. He hit the wrong gap, and it cost us as a middle linebacker. You can't do that, but overall, he played pretty well under the circumstances. Again, I'm gonna chalk that one up to Jonathan Taylor just being an absolute stud. I've seen him again in other games, and compared to, I think we played him pretty average to above average overall if you compare his performances against other teams, to be honest. So. Like I said, that's why I kind of gave him a B overall in the defense. But then Carson Wentz sucks. Not really not a huge passing threat there. So let's see. Red Wolf says Hunter Renfrow should be MVP, team MVP, or get some kind of award. He might. I mean, he might at the end. Who knows? I mean, you could say Daniel Carlson too. I mean, he's been pretty money. Sanby says, I think Waller will come out for the playoffs. I hope so. I think so too. This will be very interesting. If he doesn't, either the rumors about him holding out are true, or there's much more to that knee injury than just that little IT band. That would be my opinion, for what it's worth. Renfrew did great too. Dominique says, hey, Dominique, caught you in here. Hey, Earth Daughter. Seeing some new faces in here. I'm trying to scroll down and read as I go here. So Dominique says, why are people so against Uber? Is it something I'm missing? Well, even if they don't want to do that, they could, I don't know. I don't understand why they just don't rent a limo out or something if they want to party that night. If a few of the guys want to go out, obviously, a lot of them don't, I don't see Derek Carr. He's probably going home with his family, that's his thing. But if you want to party, you're an adult, be responsible, follow the law. Don't drive while you're drinking, I just don't get it. I don't get that logic, to be honest with you. Mr. SHS 43 says, I think we're going to put up a fight against anyone right now. Feels like we got our groove back. Yeah. Here's what I think about the team. They're playing harder. I'm going to give them that for sure. But the fundamentals, we do some not just the turnovers. Leatherwood with that emotion penalty on 3rd and 1. We're driving for another touchdown. Against this team, we had them kind of on the ropes. We kind of let them back, and then we got that penalty, and then they got the sack. We ended up just taking a field goal. Just little things like that, and honestly, we're going to have to watch a lot of the holding calls. We've been pretty good with that lately, but the Chargers are no joke. The Colts, they don't blitz a lot, and I talked about that in my preview, and they don't get a whole lot of sacks. The Chargers are going to be a handful. I'm just saying that right now. We saw it last time. I hope they make some adjustments. Why is Brandon Parker still playing? I don't understand it. Again, he caused one sack directly this week with the Colts. It's just a lot of issues. And if Leatherwood can't cut the mustard, then Mayock needs to be gone. Because he backed that guy. He backed Cleve Farrell, saying he was as good as Nick Bosa. You're telling me you don't know what you're talking about when you're talking like that. So one or the other. I would like to see Leatherwood at some point at right tackle where we drafted him, where he kind of belongs, especially when we don't have a viable backup there. Parker's not viable, in my opinion. Higher daughter. Renfrow should be in the Pro Bowl. He should. And I've made the case. I think he's the second best slot receiver in the league. He's the best. I think he's the best slot receiver in the AFC, so he should be in the Pro Bowl. But again, that's kind of more of a popularity contest. I'm not too worried about that. Raider Wolf says, I think we could beat the Chargers. I think so too. We'll get into that more on Friday. Do a little bit more analysis. I want to take a look at how the Chargers have been playing directly the last few weeks since we played them. They've had some stumbles. They've lost some games that were kind of a little head scratchers. So I'll get into that and see how we can attack this team. Let's see. Sandy B says, absolutely, they will beat the Chargers. They do kind of feel like they're on a mission, but the Chargers are more talented than this Colts team across the board. I have to say it. I think you can exploit their secondary can be very exploitable. Michael Davis looked like crap. I watched the Denver game yesterday afterwards. He did not look very good at all. Cortland Sutton used and abused him. Maybe that's how we beat them. Gonna go deep on these guys. Like I said, I want to dig a little deeper on this. Austin Eckler is going to be a pain in the ass. He's back. He had the you-know-what that you can't mention here. Or he tested positive for the you-know-what, and he came back. He had a pretty good game last week. He's had 2 weeks now, pretty good games. So he's going to be a pain in the butt, especially with our defense. So we can't cover the running back in the flat. That could be problems. And the biggest problem would be the pass rush. We need to get more sacks. Now more than ever, we can't let Herbert back there. He's too good to be left alone there, and hope the secondary covers. The Keenan Allen's there. So let's see. Raider Wolf says Uber is expensive, but for these players it's chump change. They could afford any type of Uber, even a limo. Don't know why they're trying to drive themselves when they're drinking. Yeah, I don't get it either. And at what point do we, like I said, at what point do we start blaming the leadership? Because this is systemic now. It's not kind of a one-off. We're seeing this more and more now. So even after one of our players kills somebody doing it, and we're still seeing this. What is going on here? Sadie B says, at this point, coaches should have some sort of lockdown. We need to get a real head coach. Like I said, that's kind of one thing I liked about Gruden is he was a hard ass. I think he was kind of a dinosaur in his strategy and his methodology, but the players respected him, and he towed the line. So, but he's gone. We got to move forward. Red Wolf says at the end, the Colts game, I thought we were getting screwed when they took Renfro's touchdown away. It ended up being in our favor because the Colts had no chance to get the ball back. Well, yeah, I don't think it was a screw job. If you looked, he barely got his heel. They kind of like showed it super slow mode, and here's the heel. He's like, you can see his fingers moving. It's like and the Colts didn't want that. They would have rather had the touchdown. They had the time. And then we just ran. We still had the first down, but he was just down there, and we just ran it till 2 seconds left, and field goal done. So yeah, the Colts would have wanted it too. It's kind of weird. You'd think they kind of won the challenge on that, but they actually lost. Yeah. Israel, how you doing? Just enter the live chat. I'll be sure to rewatch the video later. Yes, I went over my grades, and if you're watching this, if you're rewatching this, or you're watching this on a replay, put in the comments section what you thought of my grades, or if you agreed or disagreed, and why. I'll answer you back. As long as YouTube gives me sometimes I don't get the notifications for some comments, and then I'm looking through videos individually, and I'm saying, what the heck? I never got a notice, but they usually give the creators notices. Hey, you got a comment here, you got a comment there. Also, even better, subscribe and hit the bell notification and set it to all. You have to hit it off to the side, hit it to all. That way you'll be notified, so you won't miss any live streams if you are watching this on a replay. So, Sandy B, did you see Antonio Brown with Tampa? He had a fit in the field, the middle of the game. I think he's fired. Yeah, he kind of fired himself. So I did put a little post. I don't know if you guys saw that. After the game, I saw that and gave my thoughts on it. Basically, there's some people saying it was because they were trying to hold him back from some kind of performance incentive. I call bullshit on that, because they're trying to fight for a first seed. And if that was the case, why would they have brought him back when he was shown to have faked the certificate that he got the, I can't say. They suspended him for like 3 games. Why would they have even brought him back then? They could have probably held him out for like Keyshawn him, conduct unbecoming or whatever. Why would they bring him back? They wanted him back because he's a weapon, because Godwin tore out his knee. Mike Evans is limping around, I believe, on another hamstring injury. They needed him. So that whole incentive thing, that's a bunch of crap. And honestly, with the salary cap and everything, incentive bonus, even I heard it's like $1 million. Even with that, that's kind of chump change in the league. They're trying to get that top seed, get the bye week. I didn't buy that for a least bit. I think he was just I think he just kind of threw a fit. Honestly, I think he was probably a prick before and a diva before, but that perfect hit. I had to watch that again. It was horrific when he was on the Steelers. And Burfict, he's kind of explaining, no, I just hit him with my shoulder. Yeah, you shoulder blocked him right in the head. It was kind of ironic we had Burfict on our team for a while until he got suspended for some questionable hits. But I think he's got CTE. I'm not going to try to excuse his behavior. I still think he's a prick, but I kind of understand it more. I hope there's some treatment for him. I don't think he's going to be back in the league. He went to the Patriots after he booked from us, and he only lasted one game. And then Tom Brady brought him to Tampa last year, and Tampa's had enough. Bruce Arians has had enough. He's not going to be anywhere else. Maybe XFL, USFL. He's not going to be in the NFL anymore. And I hope we don't end up with some kind of tragedy with this, 12, 24 months down the road, like a Junior Seau or something like that. I don't wish that upon him. I have a little bit more sympathy for him because I think he does have some hardcore CTE. Raider Wolf says, yeah, the Chargers are going to be tough to beat, but the Raiders defense and O-line are looking much better these last two games. Yes, I would agree. But these are different teams. Like I said, when I saw that, even when I put the flashback on my thumbnail with the Browns, a lot of that is because it's the same type of team. The Chargers team is a different type of team. We're going to have some hard times. The right side of the line is going to have some hard times with Bosa again. I have a feeling. We got to have some kind of blocking scheme, chip him something. I don't know. Keep a tight end in. We can't let him run wild again. Drew Tranquil, is he going to be able to run on safety blitzes all by himself, untouched? Is that going to happen again? Are we going to learn from the last game? That killed us last game too. I do think the line is improving, but there's some matchups, and we need Waller. We really need Waller. Keep this Chargers team honest. Otherwise, they're just going to pin their ears back and come after us. Like I said, I'm not real impressed with their secondary, but that front line could be some serious trouble for us. Raider Wolf says, yeah, AB is no longer a Buccaneer. Yes, an idiot. He tweeted he's a rapper. Honestly, I think he's got CTE, and he's not there. He's not there. I mean, go look up that video after this. Vontaze Burfict hit on Antonio Brown. It's scary. The way he hits, not only he gets hit, he gets shoulder blocked on the helmet, and then you could tell like Antonio Brown's out of it, and he kind of flops and he falls and he like lands on his ass, and he jerks his head back when he does that, and then hits the ground on his head too. So I don't think he's been the same person since, to be honest with you. Sandy B says, rumor says his ankle was hurting and he didn't want to play injured. BS on that. Dancing before the tunnel exit. You talk about Waller. We'll see. I mean, this is a moment of truth, right? I mean, this is a playoff. This is a play-in game for the playoffs. This is, I mean, let's be honest. This is like a 7 versus 8 to get the 7th seed. Kind of like the NCAA play-in games. They allow, Middle Tennessee Community College to play against somebody, against, North Carolina, if you can win, you can get in, or it's kind of like that. This is kind of a playoff game. That's why they put it on Sunday Night Football. They're not stupid. This is going to be a heck of a game, and we're at home. This is the time, Raiders. Show us your heart. Win or lose or draw, show us. Don't fold up like you did against the Chiefs. Don't fold up like you did Monday Night Football against the Chargers. We played like crap in that game. There was no excuse. We had no chance of winning that game the way we were playing anyway. Even if we had a decent line, the defense didn't play very well at all. Let's see. Raider Wolf says, Adam Schefter says, Bucks did not officially release Antonio Brown per source. Ongoing discussions with the NFL about how to move ahead of the situation. So that could be, honestly, that could be like contract related. I'm thinking like conduct unbecoming, like Gruden did with the Keyshawn. I don't know if that's still valid, but I would be absolutely shocked if we see Antonio Brown in a Buccaneers uniform on the field ever again. I will say that. Now, if he's not officially released, might as well be. I think they're just trying to put their ducks in a row. Let's see. Sandy B says, Raiders will shine. I will light a candle. I will take all of the help we can get. Candles, incense. Put some whiskey out for Jobu, if you get the reference. Put a one in the chat. Anything at this point. But we just got to play hard football. Play kind of like we've been doing, but clean it up. No turnovers. And maybe we can get a turnover on the defensive side. Maybe. I don't know. So, all right, guys. Let's see. We're about 45, 50 minutes in. Do you guys have any Major League? Up yo's Joe Boo. And then he gets hit with the bats. That is a hilarious movie. Play like the beginning of the season. Yeah, I mean, I was one of the detractors. I thought we would lose that Ravens game. Ravens came in fresh from the playoffs from last year. We had, let's face it, we blew up the offensive line. I know they didn't have Judon anymore, and they didn't have Unique, obviously, on the Ravens side, but still, we had unproven offensive line. I didn't know what we had. And then the defense, I mean, we totally retooled that. We got Bradley in there. I didn't know what to expect, and we pulled it off. I mean, so. All right, guys. Anybody else have anything you want to say before we kind of close this one out, so to speak? Dark Wolf, if you're out there, kudos to you. I'll give you a shout out there. Again, my next live stream, as I said during the rundown here, my charging plug here, my plug for my next live stream, will be on Friday night, 6 o'clock. I like doing the 6 o'clock. It's consistent. You guys like to show up. So it's 9 Eastern, 8 Central, depending on where you're on. I'm sure most of you are on West Coast time, just like me. I'm in Southern California. So 6 o'clock Pacific, we're going to go through the game preview of the Charger game on Sunday Night Football. I'll have to update my thumbnail now because we're in prime time now. We need the big picture. I might bring back the old graphics too with the Sunday Night Football. Get some Al Michaels going in the halftime live stream. Of course, we're going to do the halftime live stream Sunday night. That goes without saying. Maybe we'll get some Grossi Posse panty raids going too. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen on these live streams, to be honest with you. So tune in. Like I said, sub so you don't miss out. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the all on the bell notification. I know it's a lot of things to do, but YouTube's very finicky about this kind of thing. That way you'll be notified. Thank you for coming out. Thank you, Dominique, Sandy B, Raider Wolf, everybody else who's in here, and those who aren't necessarily participating in the chat. I know there's some listeners out there right now who aren't in the chat. That's fine. If you just want to listen and hear the information, that's great. I think it's even better if you participate, but you do you. That's great. I thank you for coming out here. And as always, Go Raiders.
Something with all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.